Let me guess, there's something that you said that I didn't know about. You said you talked with some leaders from the fathers' rights groups and they were giving you help.
Yes.
Because usually the way that people try to stigmatize the fathers' rights movement is to say, oh, they're just angry men and they just hate all women.
No,
but what you're saying,
very helpful.
Okay, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, how I got introduced to them was the associate attorney that worked for my lead attorney, Brett. I needed to get my stuff out of the home because I was left with very little clothes, very minimal items because of the kick-out order. He arranged that I called this moving company that specializes in handling moves that are very difficult in domestic violence situations. Mm-hmm. So I called the number. The lady that answered the phone owned the company, and when I told her why I needed to get my stuff out, she told me her story. The reason why she set up this company is because she was also an abused woman and she lost her children through the court system, and she was part of this group for a class action suit for equal parental rights.
Okay.
So instead of us trying to arrange my stuff being moved out, she immediately called Father's Rights Group leader and conferenced in a call, and we had a 2-hour phone conversation.
Wow, and they charge you $880 an hour?
No, everything was free.
Oh, okay. What?
Yes.
I mean, these angry, abusive fathers?
Well, they wanted to hear my story because they were a little bit baffled how I got in this situation because it's very rare to hear. A lot of people say, you live in Texas, you're a mom, you're a woman. How did this happen to you? There must be some truth to it. So they needed to hear a story. You know, maybe they didn't believe all of it, but there were some parts of the story that they could believe that happened to me.
Yeah.
So they were very willing to help. They told me about stuff that I could do. So over time, you know, anytime I needed help, they also check in on me. Very, very, and there was, you know, the one woman that was in their group, you know, that was the moving company owner. So they were very willing to help me navigate the process. They even told me they were all pro se at this point. They've run out of financial resources to fight in courts with attorneys. So they all ended up having to represent.
So in the family court industry, it's really a mafia of sorts. It's a mafia, it's a crime syndicate. I don't care what you want to call it.
There's a lot of nepotism. It did favors and favors and favors.
It's kind of an incestuous group to some degree as well. I mean, look at, you know,
ridiculous.
It is really, really bad. And, you know, I know that the people, when I started to meet some of the people from the Father's Rights Group, I mean, the first thing, they're just so prejudiced, they hate women so much and everything else. I've never found that. Well, I mean, there may be people that have said, hey, you know, this happened to me, and people see the world through their glasses, of course.
Correct.
But I'm glad to hear you say that it was the Father's Rights Movement that actually helped you out.
They embraced me. They would file a lot of, they would try to get groupings of class action lawsuits, and the presence of at least a woman or 2 women that could join, you know, that had, you know, stories. Mine was a little bit too extensive for anybody's class action for me to participate in, because there would be fathers, but they would feel uncomfortable because mine involved me being accused of sexual assault of my children. So they didn't shun me, but there was things I could not participate in because of the allegations against me that they couldn't be associated with. But they had complete understanding, because a lot of people have been, a lot of men have been accused.
Right, and in a situation like this, I mean, maybe we should. I just want to take that side tour off to the Father's Rights Movement.
They still support me whenever I need a motion filed. They'll pull templates for me.
Well, and the interesting thing was, the reason that I found out about you at all is it was a person that is involved in one of these groups that contacted me. And
well, 2 of them actually.
Well, there's. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 2 of them.
So.
But, and I went down and lobbied with them. I never met them in person. I think it was March of 2017. I went with the moving company lady because they had meetings with Senator Van Taylor. And then they also had it with State Representative Sanford. I got to meet Sanford, but they knew the
system.
Both
are outstanding people.
Yes.
Both are outstanding.
Yes. And actually, I kept missing my appointment with Representative Sanford, so he arranged where I could meet his chief deputy or chief of staff. So she met with me, and she was very helpful. And I never knew how the system works, but they were very open to talk to me. They were very open to hear my personal story, and even provided me resources and follow-up. So the chief of staff, she followed up with me weeks after and gave me names of attorneys in Austin to fight for me more of a civil rights issue.
Right.
Because she felt my civil rights were being violated.
Right.